Hey, it's John here from John Still Runs. Well, actually, I'm not running this week. Um, on Sunday, a couple of days ago, came down with the COVID. So it's a week off work for me and a week of recovery time, resting mainly. Came down with some symptoms, a bit of a sniffle and a bit of a headache a couple of days ago. Took a couple of rats and was testing positive in both of them. So then registered with New South Wales Health, having the week off, staying at home. Not feeling too bad, particularly now, Wednesday. So I thought I might do some very gentle exercises. Now, the question is, should I? And should you, if you're actually currently going through the illness of COVID? So why exercise during COVID? Why might I want to do that? And could it be counterproductive? Well, it might be bad for you. It might be bad for me. If I was very symptomatic with a fever, short of breath, dizzy or feeling faint, chest pain, well then obviously that's a triple O call. That's seek medical attention as soon as possible. And maybe I just need to rest. Maybe I don't really want to exercise. Maybe I should just sleep as much as I can. Well, I've already done a bit of sleeping and resting. I'm drinking fluids, taking paracetamol as needed, and not feeling too bad. So maybe I should do some exercise. It might be beneficial because I've been lying down a lot, sitting up in bed, watching some Netflix and Disney. I'm starting to get a bit stiff in the neck and in the back. My spinal joints, my muscles in my spine are feeling quite tight. A lot of activity also will potentially depress my mood. And if you have some mental health issues like I do, then I think a little bit of exercise could be good for me. Mind you, if you're feeling your mental health has taken a nosedive during an episode of COVID illness, please reach out and seek some help from medical people you trust and have confidence in. So back to exercise. Maybe some gentle exercise will help me. Might even help me recover a little bit better once the illness is over. I know that there's no evidence to prove that gentle exercise during COVID will prevent long COVID. However, I'd like to see how I go today with some very gentle stretches. Now, is exercising appropriate for you? Well, it depends on your symptoms. Are you well enough? Do you really want to? And do you have a safe place, like I do here, to gently exercise? Isolating from the others in your household? Do you have a room that only you can use? Do you have an outdoor area that is safe and isolated from other people around? Okay, let's talk about what exercise may not be appropriate. Well, vigorous exercise, such as resistance training. It's not the go while you're sick. And nor should you do exercise that raises your heart rate up beyond not much more than resting levels. Keep it down. Don't go running on a treadmill. Certainly don't go running outside. You need to keep that heart rate down. And maybe other things you shouldn't do, other exercises you shouldn't do is challenging your available balance or agility, because you don't want to risk a fall either. I've had a couple of moments where I felt a little woozy, and I think balance and agility exercises would not be appropriate. So what exercise am I going to do now? Well, there's a few choices. I want to use the acronym I have of BEAMS, B-E-A-M-S. M stands for mobility, And I think that's the go for me. Some postural and dynamic stretching is what I feel I would benefit from. So I'd like to do a short little program today, stretching out my tight muscles and moving my stiff joints. I don't think I should work on the other aspect of beams. I don't want to work on balance, certainly not endurance or agility, and it's not time for strength just yet. So here's what I'm going to do, and we'll see how I feel afterwards. Remember, the main thing with COVID recovery is rest, fluids, paracetamol, and vigilance about your symptoms. If you worsen, seek medical help. Exercise is not the go. So here we are. I've got some exercises that I'm going to do in different positions. Firstly, lying supine, side lying, prone lying, sitting, and standing. Everything will be very gentle. I'll provide a little commentary as I go through them. I'll probably double the speed so it doesn't take too long. It's not too boring for you to watch. But here we go. Right, here's me lying down, about to do some neck rotations. Get that neck a little bit more mobile, then some bilateral shoulder flexions, open up the shoulders, and then some passive hip flexion on each side, followed by bilateral hip flexion or lumbar flexion, then some knee rolling to rotate my thoracic spine from the lower end, move up a little bit, and then some single leg Faber flexion, abduction, external rotation on each leg to open up the hips, stretch the hip, then lying on my side, doing some book opens, mobilize my thoracic spine, stretch my pecs, and then some hip flexion, passive hip flexion dynamic on each side. Right, okay, hip flexion, hip extensions, there we go. Rolling onto my tummy and doing some lumbar extension, because sitting down you're certainly the opposite of extended, and then some quad stretches, dynamic quad stretches, and coming into child pose to stretch my back muscles 3 times. Okay, let's grab a chair, sit up on the chair and adjust the camera. Here we go. I'm going to do some bilateral shoulder flexions again, and then some chin to shoulder touches to rotate my neck, and then some passive neck flexions supporting the weight of my head, and then some stretches, neural tension stretches, brachial plexus, then into some thoracic rotations. Remember, this is double speed. I'm not going that quick. Well, I actually enjoyed that, and I feel a little bit better. Certainly posturally, I feel less tight and less stiff. So something to consider. Be wise in your decision to exercise or not to exercise if you're having an episode of COVID currently. Make sure you rest, fluids, medication as prescribed by your doctor or suggested by health authorities. And remember, if you do get very sick, if you get sicker, then you should seek medical attention. So there you go, some exercises that you might try if you feel well enough.